Sometimes when you really have health issues and it seems like there's no way out, there's a way out. You can pray to God to find the answers, and you have to believe in yourself, and you just have to know that there's a way out of sickness. There's a way out. I did it. Millions of other people did it. Even though all the doctors said, maybe you're not gonna even live anymore, you're not gonna heal this for the rest of your life. There are millions of people that healed their chronic illness, and you can do it as well. Always believe that, and never let anybody tell you that your immune system is attacking you, that your genes are the reason why you're sick, that you manifested your illness somehow. There are true physical reasons on why you have these issues, and it's not your fault. That's also really critical to understand. It's not your fault that you have these issues, because there are real physical issues that you can explain that are behind your illnesses. You can actually do something about that if you know what's going on.
Hello and welcome to the Ronny Leber Show, where every week we bring you fascinating guests with inspiring stories of success and overcoming obstacles from the worlds of sports, business and entertainment. To support this channel, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell and hit the like button so that we can deliver you the best content possible. He's a former soccer pro from Germany. He started chasing the ball when he was just 4 years old, turned professional when he was 18 and quit his career at the age of 25 to pursue his next dream. That got him on a journey of going more and more into nutrition and healing the body. He went down a rabbit hole, which didn't just create extraordinary results for himself, but also for his clients. He's now running a health coaching business, working with professional athletes and business owners to get them back on track to perform their best. I'm happy to have him on the show. Joining us live from Erfurt, Germany, please welcome, here's Theo Bergmann. Woo!
Thank you for the great introduction, Ronny. That was amazing. I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad that we met a couple of weeks ago, that we can do this right now, and that we got along. It's really nice.
That's awesome. I'm excited as well. And today we'll not only talk about what it actually takes to first become a professional athlete and then also successfully shift your career, but we'll also dive into the business aspect of building a personal brand and of course into health habits that make you perform at your best. But before we actually go there, when you look at your life today and think back on your journey, I guess that definitely was not the plan when you were a kid, was it, to be doing a health coaching business?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, if somebody would have said this to me even like 5 years ago, I would have said, I'm into nutrition, yeah, but I doubt that. And my goal was, when I started playing soccer at 4 years old, my goal was then always like, people saw that I'm just really good at what I'm doing and playing soccer. And then my goal was all the time, I want to be professional, I want to really do that. And there was basically nothing else that I was pursuing in that time. Of course, school was important for me, for my parents, but sometimes life makes more sense backwards, right?
Absolutely. It's then just about connecting the dots. And you already mentioned you started playing soccer at the age of 4 and you turned pro when you were 18. So for anybody out there that would love to become a professional athlete, what does it take to actually do it, to actually become a professional athlete in whatever sports you're in?
I mean, I would say, obviously, of course, you need some talent. Without talent and without the abilities to do that, it's not going to be possible to be highly competitive. But on the other hand, you also need to be ambitious. You need to be able to even suffer more than other athletes. You need to maybe train a little bit more than other athletes. For example, when I was in boarding school, I learned that from my brother, actually, because I was half a year with him in boarding school as well. And we shared the same room. And I was first of all, I was looking up to him all the time. He's 2 years older than me. And then I saw him doing extra work, even in the evening, for example, even when we had 2 times training or 1 time training every day. And he did some extra push-ups. He did some extra core exercises. And then I realized, okay, My brother's doing it. I think it makes sense, and I have to do it as well. And I just think if you really want to do it, of course, some athletes are so talented, they would just go pro, even if they don't have a good lifestyle and even if they don't really take care of themselves. But for the most part, you need to work hard. You need to also believe in yourself. You need to, even if it maybe in the youth, even some players are not the best players, but then turns out in the end, or when they are adults, then they're better than the other players that used to be the best in the team. So sometimes you never know. Sometimes things change, and you really have to. Of course, you have to believe in yourself. But on the other hand, I think even nowadays more than ever, if you want to go pro, you need to be professional. You need to take care of your sleep. You need to take care of your nutrition. You need to take care of your body in general. You need to take care of your environment also. Who do you hang out with? Because that's also something that can really influence the way on how you think and how you do certain things. So I think that's also something that you have to consider if you want to go pro.
I think that's a fascinating answer. And at the same time, what I was just thinking, I mean, as an adult, that's easy to say. As a kid growing up or as a teenager, there are oftentimes other things in your mind. So what actually kept you focused? Was it just seeing the things on what your brother did? Or what was it that really got, on the one hand, that fueled the fire inside of you, that you really want that and that kept you on the path? And then on the other hand, how did you develop that mindset at an early age?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is that I had passion for what I'm doing. Um, and also, I'm a very ambitious person in general. Like if I put something in my head, it sticks to me, and I want to achieve it. Same goes for the business, but I think I was just really dedicated. I was looking up to other professional soccer players. I was looking up to the adult team in Erfurt where I played, and I was like when I was a ball guy in for the third league, and I was looking up to them, and I said, okay, once I want to play there as well. One time I want to play there as well. So this is my dream. And then I think I had a good environment, which is also helpful, of course. I have parents that support me all the time, which I'm extremely grateful because after a while I realized that this is sometimes not normal that you have parents that support you, that can support you, that are healthy, that actually send you to boarding school or allow you to go to boarding school, even though you're just 14 years old, and they just help you to pursue your dream. And it's just something that was really helpful for me as well. Then of course my brother played a huge role in that. And then in general I was just it was always my goal to become professional one day. And then I was just working hard for that dream. And the circumstances that I had with boarding school, with a sports school where I went to, I think were really good. I had great teachers. I got along with them really well. I had an amazing class. We usually in the sports school in Erfurt, we were like, we have a lot of variety of sport there. Like we have golf, swimmers, handball, volleyball, track and field. And usually the soccer players and the track and field players are in one class. And track and field and soccer players, they get along really well. So we always had a great connection. And you were hanging out with your friends like 24/7, which is just a great environment to be in. Everybody's pursuing the same dream. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody is doing sport. We understand each other, and it was just a perfect environment to grow up and to support each other, I would say.
So what's great about that is that you actually, from an early age on, you got yourself in an environment that actually, where you could develop your skills, where you could develop also your talent, at the same time also where you were in close proximity to people that also were in the same path as you. And also you had your role models that you looked up to. So it was always a path that was in front of you. And in a way, and it was just a logical progression that at the age of 18, to turn pro. And how was that when you first turned pro? And at the same time, there came some challenges along the way, didn't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, of course. There are always challenges if you're in that area. I remember when I came out of the youth, and then of course I got my first contract because I was probably was the best player in my team in the under 19. Then I got my first professional contract in Erfurt, and then yeah, of course we had preseason and everything. I was playing pretty good, and then we had our first game away in Magdeburg. And Magdeburg is in the third. We were in the third league at that time in Germany, and I would say third league, even fourth league in Germany is even in some teams in the fourth league it's already professional soccer, but third league, obviously yes. And then we went to the biggest club in the third league with the biggest stadium where like I think it was like 25,000 people, and this was my first game there. And I got subbed in the 60th minute, and I was just I was so excited. I really had like how do you say it? I was really scared also a little because of course our first game, and yeah, it was just, but it was a great experience. And yeah, but as you said, there are always some things where you have some obstacles to overcome. I was subbed in the 60th minute. Then at that time we were in the lead 1-0, and then we lost the game 0 to, or not, we lost the game 1-2. And then the coach, because I was a very young player, the coach was afraid of letting young players play in the next game. So for the next couple of weeks, I didn't play any minutes, and I had to fight my way back, and I had to wait and to wait and to wait. But I had always this mindset that if I don't play, and if I yeah if the trainer doesn't want me to play, if he doesn't put me in the starting 11, then I train additionally so much until I'm gonna be in a starting 11. I'm not like, of course you can be sad about it in a situation, but I always thought about, okay, what can I do to improve, and that the trainer has to put me in a starting 11.
It's like the old saying, be so good that the others can't ignore you.
Yeah.
Because it's really, and I think it's fascinating learning all of this as well. Because how often is it that we actually would like to do something or would like to pursue something, and then we don't get picked because others, we're not in control of, for example, being on a certain stage or whatever it is. So if other people make a decision, but then it would be easy to say, well, okay, then maybe not. But to turn this around and say, okay, I'm going to just keep on working, keep on practicing, to
Yeah.
keep moving forward until I get to a certain level where I'm going to be so good that they cannot overlook me anymore.
Yeah,
And, and,
exactly.
and that's a great point. And then also what you were telling with the 25,000 people there, it puts immediate pressure on you, because it's not like I'm playing in front of an empty stadium. And if I'm not playing good, maybe I'm letting the other 11 players on my team or 10 players on my team and so on, and the coaches down. But this is then a totally different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's like a complete different environment. Because before you were just playing on some soccer pitches where like 100, 150 people were looking at you. And then out of nowhere, there was a game in the evening, and you had the lights on from the stadium, 25,000 people, the loudest stadium in the third league. And then, yeah, of course, it's completely different. But the crazy thing is that it's still not different than playing on a normal soccer pitch, because if you're in the game and you're focused, then like everything else dissipates. So everything else, you're just like in the biggest focus, and you do, of course, you hear everything, but it just you, first of all, you get used to it the more you're doing it, and then yeah, it's just you're like in a really big focus when you're playing, and it's not different than playing on a soccer pitch with your friends somewhere, but because when you're in the flow once. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very fascinating. Then at some point, after a few years in, health issues came along. Tell us about that, because that's also something that was very impactful for what you're doing today.
Yeah. First of all, I was always very curious about nutrition, because after my high school, after I graduated, in Germany you say Abitur, it's like high school. And I did that. And then most of the time, I was just saying to myself, okay, I'm going to take 1 year off and I'm going to focus 100% on soccer and see how it goes. And then I said to myself, okay, I can play FIFA 24/7 besides playing soccer and just sitting in front of the PlayStation. So then I thought to myself, okay, what can you do when you're a professional soccer player to improve? Maybe I should look after my nutrition, because what you put in your body is really important, and it can highly influence the way you perform. It can influence the way of your health, of your immune system, even of your injury risk, because your nutrition is also deeply connected to your injury risk. We can also go deeper into that. But I started to go into that. But then I think it was at the age of 21, at the end of in the third year that I played professional in Erfurt, I got a flu. And then after the flu, I still had a weird feeling in my head. So I was like, that's not. I said it's like I'm feeling dizzy all the time in my head. And I went to the doctor again, and she said to me, yeah, it's normal. It's just your circulation. It's just a normal way after the flu, and it will dissipate soon. Will be gone soon. Then I said, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go home and train again. But this weird feeling in my head, it didn't went away. So I was like, okay, what is going on here? Because nobody really can tell me what I have. I know that I have this weird feeling in my head, that I had a feeling. I can describe it in the best way when I say I was slightly drunk all the time, where I couldn't really concentrate, where I couldn't look people in the eyes. For example, if I would do the podcast right now with that, it's so-called brain fog. It's like you have a fog in your brain. It's like somebody stuffed cotton wool in your forehead. It's like being a little bit of drunk. It's feeling like you're not really part of life anymore. It's like watching a movie and you're not part of it. So you feel a little bit even disconnected from life, because I don't know, it's just a fog in your head. And then I knew something was wrong, but people, the doctors they didn't really know what to do with me. Like, just first I went to to the house doctor. Then she said, okay, she took the blood test, everything fine. Then I went to the next doctor, to the team doctor. He said to me, okay, I'm going to test. He actually tested me for Epstein-Barr virus, which was really funny, because that's actually the cause of it, of what I had. But the problem is that you can't detect the virus that is causing it in the blood. So he tested it in the blood, because I don't know why he did it. Maybe he got it intuitively, I don't know, or maybe he heard of it. But he said that, let's test it, even though you already had mononucleosis. And it's a kissing disease, better saying. Or it's famous, the infamous kissing disease. And then he tested it, it came back negative, and he said, okay, that's done, that's it. And then I went to the next doctor, to a neurologist. Neurologist said to me, or I talked to her for half an hour, I don't know. I talked to her that it's so hard for me to concentrate. I have the pressure mentally from training and to perform all the time. I have the pressure also physically, and everything is too much for me because I can't really concentrate. And then she said she wanted to prescribe me antidepressants. And I was like, I was so hopeless in that moment that I was like, okay, I don't know, maybe I'm going to take it. And I took it home with me, and I called my parents, and I said to my parents, yeah, mom, dad, the neurologist prescribed me antidepressants. And they were like, what? You're not going to take that? Are you mad? It's insane to prescribe you antidepressants because you're not depressed. And I was like, yes, I'm not depressed. There's just something else going on. And then I went from doctor to doctor. I had contact to the best doctors in Germany, because I was a professional soccer player and I had good contacts at that time. I went to Munich, I went to chiropractors, to naturopath, and nobody really knew what to do about it. So then I had to figure out a way on how to heal myself, because it was just a situation where I said, okay, I can handle it somehow. I can somehow train, because when you're training, you're under so much, or when you're even in a match, you're under so much adrenaline that you can still focus somehow and you can still do it in a way. But after training, or other than that, your whole life is just a mess. It's just chaos, because you just want to go home, you just want to sleep, because everything else needs so much overcoming to do anything. Everything was just exhausting for me. It's really hard to grasp if you never had that, but you can just imagine that everything that I had to do mentally was very exhausting.
How long was that situation? Like how long were you in that state?
6 months to 12 months, probably.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then during that time, it was my contract extended after in my third year where I had these issues. And of course, you don't want that this stuff is going public. And I was still known in the third league as one of the best youth players. And I got a lot of offers from other clubs, for example, Hansa Rostock, Wiesbaden, or Kaiserslautern. And then then I said, okay, and then I decided to go to Kaiserslautern, even though I still had brain fog. But I didn't really know what to do about it. But I just said, okay, I'm gonna do it somehow. I have to manage it somehow. It's gonna be all right. Yeah.
But your old team knew what you had.
No.
Like they knew about it. They also didn't know.
They didn't even realize. Like nobody realized. But I was just I didn't tell anybody, because if you show weakness in professional sports or in professional sports, they don't need you anymore. It's just the hard truth. It's about performance, and anything else comes next. And I understand that it's if a team has a player that doesn't perform well, the team has to win. The team has to make money. It's about, as always, it's about money in the end. And if you don't perform, you don't bring money to the team, and then you're not useful anymore. So that's why I never really talked about that. I have a lot of professional athletes that I work with right now that say to me, I don't want to do a testimony with you right now because I'm still in my career, and I don't want other people to see that I'm suffering, And I understand that.
I understand as well, and it's a very interesting thing. So but as you were saying, there are quite a few athletes, or maybe even more than just a few athletes out there that are suffering from one or the other thing, but nobody knows about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't really hear from it. Like there are so many. I know professional soccer players with colitis, which is like a heart inflammation in the colon. There are soccer players, or there are athletes that have extreme fatigue. They have brain fog as well. They have thyroid issues. They have migraines. They have back pain. They have lots of other pain. So many issues, and you never really see it. Like if you see a news article about that, then maybe the news article writes, this guy has gut issues, but he's going to be better in 2 weeks, for example. But the reality is this guy has colitis and nobody knows what to do about it, and he probably suffers with this for the rest of his life. Maybe it's still manageable with some pharmaceuticals for his career, but we don't know how it's going. So yeah, and it's the same with a lot of business owners as well. You don't really know that in that realm.
Wow. So how did you solve it?
Basically, it's a good question. Basically, the biggest factor on how to solve any chronic illness is to change the diet. You have to change the diet. It's the biggest factor. Of course, other factors are important as well, like sleep, like taking care of what you put on your body, what kind of chemicals you put on your body every day, which can be really harmful. Like perfume, for example, is one of the most toxic things you can put on your body. And but in general, you have perfume. Yeah, perfume, cologne. It's really bad. It has lots of heavy metals. It has endocrine disruptors. It's just horrible. It's like you breathe it in through your lungs, and it enters your bloodstream. And white blood cells, like your immune system, they try to fight against the chemicals in the perfume, and they eventually die, and they weaken because you just wear perfume or you breathe it in from other people. And this just lowers your immune system, which can be horrific if you're already chronically ill, or if you're just a soccer player in general, not a soccer player, if you're just a professional athlete or a business owner in general, or any kind of person, then your immune system lowers. And nowadays, we just talked about that, everybody's sick, everybody has the flu, everybody has C. And so it's just, it's just important to take care of it. But in general, nutrition comes first. You have to cleanse your body, which is everybody nowadays has to cleanse the body. Biggest part in cleansing plays the liver. You have to know how the liver functions. You have to know what the liver loves. You have to know what the liver doesn't want to have. You have to know how the liver is cleansing. And then you can actually cleanse your body if you know how to cleanse your liver. It's like a sponge that is absorbing every kind of poisons in your body. So if you're able to cleanse the liver, then you are able to cleanse the body in general. So that's how you do it. And this is the most important factor when it comes to healing any chronic illness.
Wow, two questions actually that come to mind out of that. One is, first of all, how did you get to the realization that it's about the nutrition?
Yeah.
And the second one is, if somebody's out there and like, what? I cannot use cologne? What am I going to use? Or, I mean, I don't want to be smelly.
Okay. First of all, I always, as I said to you, I was always interested in nutrition. And I always had this weird intuition that I said to myself, there has to be something in nature that can heal us. There has to be something, like there have to be answers in nature, in food, in herbs, in wild foods that can actually do something in the body that our body can heal. And in 2019, when I moved from Erfurt to Kaiserslautern, I watched the story from Novak Djokovic on Instagram. And I saw him drinking celery juice and tagging Medical Medium. And I was like, Novak Djokovic. I even read his first book about gluten-free diet. And I was like, okay, I'm going to check this out. If Novak Djokovic is saying that and is giving this guy, is promoting this guy and tagging him in his Instagram stories, which in his Instagram story, which he's never doing probably, I'm going to check that out. And then I checked that out and I found out about Medical Medium and I moved more and more into the field of nutrition, how to heal the body, what is actually causing your issues, what is the root cause of chronic illness, and what can you do about it? Because if you don't know, for example, that a virus is causing your brain fog, or that the Epstein-Barr virus is causing your Hashimoto or your weakness and fatigue, then how can you know on how to heal it if you don't know the root cause in the first place? So you really have to know the root cause first, and then you can attack the root cause. But if you don't know the root cause first, it's just trial and error. It's like, try this, try that, try coffee enema, have you tried, doctors were saying to me, why don't you try coffee? Coffee makes everything worse if you have brain fog. Maybe it can help you in the moment, but the adrenaline that is getting released from drinking all that coffee, that's why people are addicted to it, is burning out your neurotransmitters even more in your brain, which makes the brain fog long-term even worse. So if you don't know the root cause, what I want to say, if you don't know the root cause, everything else is just trial and error. So you have to know the root cause first, and then you can attack it.
We're going to get into the root cause afterwards. We're still going to talk about that. Cologne.
Cologne.
If somebody's out there and listening to you before and was like, what? I cannot use cologne anymore. I'm going to smell horrible. What can I do?
First of all, if you cleanse your body, you're not going to smell as much as you used to. That's the first thing. And also there are a lot of clean options that you can try and that you can use. There are you can do essential oils, for example. You can do even a deodorant that is without any fragrances, that is just suppressing the smell of your under armpits, for example. But in general, if you want to smell good, you have to cleanse your body, which is the best option to do it because it's also a sustainable thing. And I don't know about you, if you like the smell of cologne and perfume, but I'm telling you, if you avoid any kind of fragrances in your shampoo, laundry detergent, in your dish soap, perfume, in your deodorant, whatever it is, if you avoid that for 1, 2, 3 months, and then you smell it again, it's like you're dying. I'm telling you. It's like if I'm walking past somebody that has perfume on him, I'm just like, I have to hold my breath because I can't really breathe it in anymore because it smells so toxic. And people don't understand that because they never avoided these these chemicals for a longer period of time. But then if you smell it after a longer period of time, if you avoid it for like a couple of months, then you really smell the toxicity, and your body has a normal reaction to it, because before that your body goes numb because of it, probably. And then there are a lot of people that are chemically sensitive. These are the canary in the gold mine, so to say, that if they breathe in perfume, or if they breathe in any kind of chemicals that smell just a little bit, that their day is gone, for their day is done. They have to go at home because they get an allergic reaction or whatever. It's just, these are just the people that nobody talks about, basically. But yeah, perfume is just one thing that is really harmful for the body, and it's actually one of the worst. Yeah.
Wow. So you figured it out. You knew that through nutrition you can heal yourself. You needed to figure out the root cause,
Yeah.
which in your case is what you did, what you achieved. So basically, you got everything out of control. You went back to normal, or to functioning great again, in order to perform. And when you came back, and I don't know how it is I mean, at least in the old days, there used to be a lot of professional athletes who did not have the nutrition that you would actually need to have for a pro. So also nowadays, I'm guessing there are still some out there who are like, I don't need that. So and then there comes a guy, a young up and coming sports pro, who tells them, well, that's bad for you, or I don't know. Or how did you deal with that? Did you just tell the others what to eat, or did you just observe and were astonished, or how was that?
What do you mean, if I saw other people, or if other people saw me doing different stuff? What do you
Well,
mean?
both actually. I remember I haven't been eating meat now for almost 23 years.
Oh,
And when I stopped eating meat, it was, people were shocked, or they were
yeah,
like, what are you doing? And especially back in those days, you couldn't find vegetarian options everywhere. Not in all the restaurants. Nowadays it's easy, but back then it was very hard at times, and people were looking at me like I'm crazy. And
yeah,
I can imagine that in your case it must have felt in a way also
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. That's very true, because when you start to do something different, especially in a team where it's like really, it's like everybody's trying to outsmart the other person. Everybody is trying to be the best. It's pretty egoistic. It's just normal in soccer. And then you're doing something different because maybe you have an issue and you want to heal it, for example. Then everybody's looking at you like, what are you doing, man? It's not going to work. And it's like, I remember when I was having brain fog, and I didn't really know what to do, but I switched. For example, I ditched dairy. I was like stopped eating dairy like 8 years ago, and then I was having my plant milk with me, or I just put water in my oatmeal in the morning. And that day was like, I don't know, like 8 years ago, when we went to an away game, and another guy from the team asked me, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "Yeah, because I have brain fog, and I want to heal this and so on." And he was like, "And is it helping? How is it gone?" I said, "No, it's not gone." And then he was like laughing, "Huh? So it's not working, huh?" And I was like, "Yo, what do you like? Where's the compassion, man? It's just I really try to heal myself and really try to help myself here, and you just putting me down even more." So it's but um, the thing is, of course, I didn't know if it's worked in the first place. So I just tried it, basically. Then when I started change, I was even already plant based before I really started changing my nutrition and getting even more into it. But and I'm not saying you have to go plant based. It's not about that. It was just my way of doing it. When I was starting to really change the diet, I didn't know if it's going to work or not. And what I also had, which wasn't influencing my performance, is I had really bad skin. I had really bad acne. Like you don't see anything on my skin right now. It's just clear. There's nothing on there anymore. And after I changed my diet even more drastically, or not going to say drastically, but when I avoided some foods, when I included some foods that are really helpful, then I saw after 2 to 3 months, man, my skin is clearing up. That's incredible. I had acne since I'm 15 years old. Now I'm 22, And I had acne for 7 years. The doctors, the dermatologists were prescribing me medication for that, any kind of cream. Nothing helped. Then I changed my diet. And then after 2 to 3 months, it went away. And I was like, okay, if it changes my skin like this, it's gonna help me with my brain fog as well. And it did. And then also, brain fog wasn't the only issue that I had. I also developed a weakness in my body, a weakness of the limbs. It felt like I was carrying 20 kilograms with me. Additionally, it wasn't all the time, but it was here and there. I had it for 2 weeks on, then I didn't had it for 2 months, then it got back for 2 weeks, then I got it a little bit longer, and I also didn't know what to do about it. But then I had the information on how to heal it, and I was just sticking to the protocol that I was doing. I was it was really tough, because if you have 1% less as a professional athlete, you feel that. And I was like, I had like 40 or 50% less, even 60, 70% less, if I had the weakness and the brain fog. Brain fog, I had that usually most of the time. And then I had the weakness. And then with this weakness that I had, I was like 30, 40% of my abilities, I have to say. I remember one game where I got subbed in, where I played in Kaiserslautern. It was against Jena. I know it completely. I remember everything so in detail, because right now I'm thinking to myself, saying to myself, how did I do that? I was so weak. I just didn't know how I did it. I was so weak. When I got subbed in, I was like, man, how do I do this right now? But one of my biggest advantages was that I wasn't a physical player. I was more of a technical player. I was good in passing. I was good in the first contact. I had a good vision. I had a good understanding of the game. I was quick in my head, so to say. So I didn't really had to use my physics a lot, my physicality. So that's also why nobody realized that I had health issues, because I was still able to perform basically at the same level, but deep down, I was feeling not really good. And then I was just, I was just trying to heal myself, even though I had the pressure of playing soccer professionally, on the one hand physically, but on the other hand mentally, because you have to perform. It's your job. You have to make money out of it. You just have a limited time of playing soccer. In a third league, you earn a fair amount of money. It's not a lot. It's not less. It's just a fair amount of money. But you can't save a lot in the third league, depending on where you play. But just in general, it's really good money, but it's also, on the other hand, not enough to make savings out of it, for example. But in general, the thing is, if you're healing something, it's something that's something that is ingrained in your soul for the rest of your life, because you overcome. And the hardest thing maybe in your life, because it's just something that's holding you back, that's making you miserable. And if you overcome that, you realize that there's nothing else that's holding you back now. And when it's and what you also learn when you heal diseases, or when you heal your own chronic symptoms, you first start to see improvement, and then sometimes it gets a little bit worse. So you make 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And you always have these, I was feeling better with my weakness for like a longer period of time. Then it came back. I was devastated, but I knew, okay, stick to it. You will heal it. It's going to be all right. Same with brain fog. I healed it. I didn't have it for 1 year. Then it came back for 1 week. You get PTSD about that, because you have so much PTSD about sickness, because you don't want to go back to where you were, because it's just so you don't want that life anymore, where you have these chronic symptoms that make your life miserable. So you're developing a lot of PTSD around that. Everybody that has had chronic illness knows what I'm talking about right now. So this is also something that is shaping you, that is shaping your soul and your mindset, because it's always going to be, you're going to improve, but then something is holding you back. You have more stress in your life, you're more adrenaline, symptoms get triggered again. Then it's 1 step back again, even 2 steps back or 3 steps back, but then you work your way up again. And it goes like this all the time: 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And then at the end, sometimes or at one time, maybe you healed everything and then you're out of that sickness and then you have your life back. Because I had only one wish when I was sick as a professional athlete. I had one wish. I just wanted to be healthy and I want to have fun again by doing what I'm doing. I said, I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything. I just want to stay on the soccer pitch and I don't want to have symptoms. That was my only wish that I had.
Which goes back to the old saying, which is that a healthy person has 1,000 wishes, a sick person only one.
Yes, exactly.
And it's very fascinating to hear that. Also, what somebody might be asking themselves is, well, okay, I get it. Nutrition, that's really something that I should be focusing on. But where do I educate myself? Because also there are so many different books and also so many different studies. And then one book says that, or one study says this study, the other study says something completely different, or maybe even completely opposite. So there is a lot of confusion as well out there. So what is really good for your body? Where do you educate yourself? How do you do that?
That's very true. There's basically nowadays a study for everything. Coffee is good for you. Coffee is bad for you. Cheese is good for you. Cheese is bad for you. They said 10 years ago garlic is bad for you. Now garlic is the best antibiotic. So it can be very confusing. And also recently, it's with the studies, it's pretty funny because there's always some kind of intent when somebody is doing a study. There's always some kind of funding behind it. There's always an intention on how the study should look like and maybe even what the results are. So
ahead of time, before the study is even conducted, this is what we want to have as a result. Now find a way to make it look like that.
Yes, exactly. One of the best examples right now that is going viral on, I've said that I've seen it on so many reels. Health experts are quoting the study that you shouldn't mix blueberries with bananas because bananas block the flavonoids, which is an antioxidant in the blueberries. They block the absorption rate of the flavonoids by 84%. And now everybody was saying this, and I was seeing that on Instagram. I was like, what the is going on here? Like, you can't even blend bananas and berries in the smoothies anymore together. And then I was looking up that study because, first of all, I didn't believe it because it's just complete nonsense. And then because if you mix fruits and vegetables together, it's like saying God made a mistake. If you just can also eat a berry and eat a banana together, it's not making any issues with the absorption of the different nutrients. But also, first of all, I didn't believe it. And then I was looking up who was funding this study. Guess who funded the study? Mars. Mars Incorporation funded the study. Now, think about what Mars wants you to eat. Do they want you to eat a banana or do they want you to eat their chocolate bars? You know, it's just, and then I can't take these health experts seriously because they recite the study without even looking after who was funding the study. And then the study was also done by the University of California, which is also funded by Rockefeller Foundation, Gates Foundation. So there are also there's always some conflict of interest in there, and you have to be really careful with that. But yeah, as you said, it's not easy to figure out the right way. I think, it's not easy, to be honest. You have to.
So how do you?
I use medical medium information, which has helped heal millions of people around the globe, and including myself and including my clients. So I use that, and it's just it just changed the whole nutrition and the whole world of alternative medicine, I would say. I think you said to me that you heard of celery juice, for example, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yes.
and a lot of people know that celery juice exists and what it is, but also a lot of people don't know that it comes from Anthony William, medical medium. So it's just there's way more to it, and it just works really well. If you
What
really
do you see are the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to their nutrition?
um it's a bit controversial, but one of the biggest mistakes that most people do nowadays is they're having a diet that is too high in fat. Now everybody is saying, yeah, you have to eat fats, good fats. Nowadays it goes even a little bit more into meat is one of the healthiest things you can do for your body. Like last 10 years, it was like, yeah, go vegan, go vegan, go vegan. Now it's about go animal based, go animal based, go animal based. A lot of people are promoting that nowadays. But what most people do wrong, doesn't matter if you're vegan, paleo, animal based, most of the people nowadays, they eat too much fat. They just eat too much fat. And for example, you eat too much animal protein, too much pork, too much lamb, too much dairy, too much eggs, not enough fruits and vegetables. This is just something that is most of the people are doing wrong. And of course, you can improve your health if you choose to go keto, if you choose to go paleo, if you choose to go vegan, because if you have the intent of changing your diet, most of these diets, most of these diets promote not eating processed foods, which are most people do. That's even the biggest issue, that most people eat processed foods, and they eat lots of processed oils. And but this is not the holy grail. Like, of course, you want to avoid processed foods, for example, but most health experts nowadays, they think they found the holy grail when they avoid seed oils and processed foods in general. But that's just a little bit of what it's needed to heal your symptoms and heal your issues, because there's way more to it. You need to cleanse your body. You need to know how the liver works. There are so many other things. And why is that people, why is it not good if you eat too much fat and also too much protein? Everybody is focused on protein. Everybody is focused on, and if you focus on protein, that also means you're focused on fat. You don't really realize it. It's under the umbrella of protein, but protein and fats are not the most important nutrients that you need. The most important nutrients that you need are carbohydrates. It's the very thing that carbohydrates is the only thing, sugar in the end, where everybody is afraid of nowadays, because they brainwashed us basically to be in fear about sugar. Of course, you want to avoid processed sugar, but the sugar in fruit, the sugar in a potato, or the sugar in a sweet potato is the best thing, is the best fuel for your body. And it's the only way of getting a nutrient into a cell. And if you eat lots of fats in between, first of all, fats is blocking insulin from attaching sugar and from attaching to tissue cells to open up. So if you eat a lot of fats and sugar combined, then it's harder for your sugar that is also bonded to nutrients to get into a cell. And on the other hand, if you eat lots of fats, you bog down your liver. Every time you bog down, or you burden your hydrochloric acid in your stomach, because if you eat lots of fats, your hydrochloric acid, or your stomach needs to produce lots of hydrochloric acid to digest the fats and proteins. Your liver has to produce so much bile to digest the fats and proteins, and the liver already has so much to do. The liver also has to cleanse viruses, toxic heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, pesticides, herbicides, perfume, petrochemicals. And on top of that, when you eat a high-fat diet, your liver gets overburdened even more. That's why it's important, or why the biggest issue nowadays are these high-fat diets, because you basically overburden your liver with high-fat diets. That's why it's also called fatty liver. If you have a fatty liver, it's not because of sugar, it's because of the fat. And the other thing is that when you eat so much fat, you can imagine if you have a bloodstream where fat is in there, the blood is not flowing really good. When there's no fat in there, the bloodstream is flowing really clearly. The nutrients get absorbed more easily. But if you have lots of fat in there, you get more dehydrated. You get more acidic. That's why it's also called fatty acids. These are acids. It's making you more acidic. So This is probably the worst mistake, or not the worst, but the biggest mistake that most people do nowadays, is that they eat too much fat, even under the guise of too much protein, under the umbrella of too much protein. And it's just really important to lower the fats. And as I said before, when you change your diet, whatever you are doing, before everybody is eating a standard American diet, you eat just lots of processed foods, you eat lots of gluten, and most diets nowadays, whatever it is, they avoid processed foods. Most of them avoid gluten. Most of them avoid maybe even seed oils. And then you can feel improvements. You can feel better if you leave out all this crap in your diet, if you leave out the processed foods, if you leave out the cookies and donuts. Of course you feel better, but for some people it's enough. Some people feel good of it, and then they think they found the Holy Grail. But for some people, if you really have health issues, it's probably not enough, and you need more, and you need to go further, and you need to go juicing, you need to go doing smoothies, whatever. You need to cleanse your body more, and then it moves the needle even more.
One more thing, actually, that I would like to bring up, because some people, we're always great at finding excuses, like, I cannot do this because of that, or I got heavy bones, or whatever, or, well, it's the genes. Yeah. What about the gene thing?
Genes is also another. It's the same myth as autoimmune theory. That's a very good question, because they always, if you go to your doctor, if you're in the medical system and you have any kind of chronic illness, you realize that they always put the blame on you. They don't know what's going on with you, so they put the blame on you, and they prescribe you pharmaceuticals and say, you're going to have this disease for the rest of your life. Just take this to be able to cope with the symptoms. And they say to you, it's your genes, it's in your head, it's autoimmune, so your body's attacking itself. And if genes would really make us sick, then why didn't we had these kind of sickness that we have nowadays, like 100 or 200 years ago? Like, did our genes change nowadays? Did they just change out of nowhere? There are other things that are causing chronic illness, which are viruses. Basically 4 things: viruses, or basically pathogens, toxic heavy metals, pathogens like viruses and bacteria, toxic heavy metals, mercury, aluminum, copper is a big one. All kinds of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and also DDT. DDT is an insecticide that was used like 50 years ago, and it was banned, but people still have that in your body. It's still in our air. You inherit it. It's also a big one, and radiation is also a big one. And these are the things that are making you sick. And these things emerged in the last decades so much. These are the things that emerge. It's not that our genes are going bad. That's just another try to hide the fact that the medical system don't know what's going on with you. They just try to hide it. They put the blame on you all the time, which is actually the worst thing to do, because when you're really sick, you know that you have symptoms, and then you go to your doctor, and your doctor says to you, it's all in your head, and you're just making this up. This is heartbreaking. If you're saying this to someone that has really issues, I had contact with people. I even help people to heal CFS. It's chronic fatigue syndrome. It's when you lay in bed basically your whole day because you're so tired. You have legs like sandbags, and you go showering, and then you're so tired that you have to go to bed for the rest of the day. And these people are in the hospitals, for example. And I had one friend of mine, and he was in a hospital, or she was in a hospital, and the doctor said to him, "Oh, you're making this up. You're sleeping so much. That's why you're so tired." It's like crazy saying this to a person. And then also, they always try to make things up to hide the fact that they don't know what's going on with you. For example, one of the biggest theories, one of the biggest myths is the autoimmune theory. Like in the 1950s, people were filing into the doctor's office with all kinds of symptoms and diseases that doctors never saw before. Women were coming into the doctor's office with brain fog, with thyroid issues, hot flashes, heart palpitations, tingling and numbness, migraines. And the doctors said this they saw this for the first time, and they didn't know what to do about it. And then the autoimmune theory evolved, and they said, if you have, for example, Hashimoto, which is inflammation in the thyroid, it's your own immune system attacking the thyroid. If you just think about that, that's what every med student is learning nowadays. Every med student learns that if you have Hashimoto, it's your own immune system attacking your thyroid. First of all, why the hell should your immune system do that? And second of all, they could never prove that. It was just a theory. And this theory made its way into all studies nowadays. Every med student is learning this. And also, when it comes to this, they said it's proven because you see antibodies. You see antibodies that show that your immune system is attacking your thyroid. Antibodies are there and if you have antibodies in your body, it shows that you have a pathogen in your body, because antibodies are there to mark the pathogens that white blood cells can kill off the virus. So if you have antibodies in your body because you have a thyroid issue, that means there's an invader that is attacking your immune system, and that is attacking the thyroid. And the immune system is the very thing that you need the most when it comes to heal these issues. Meanwhile, they are saying to you that your immune system is the culprit, which is completely insane. When you have it's like complete insanity. For example, if you have MS, it's the same with MS. MS is also, they say MS, it's like when you have lesions in the myelin sheath and you feel fatigue, you have all kinds of neurological symptoms, you have numbness, you have eye problems, vision problems that can be involved in MS. And what they are doing, or what they are saying, is that they're saying that the immune system is attacking you. Your own immune system is attacking you. It's, again, the autoimmune theory. That's why you have MS. And what they then do is they prescribe you immunosuppressants to lower your immune system, because they think the immune system is the culprit. In the meantime, the immune system is the very thing that you need the most in order to fight the pathogens that are creating your chronic illness. So long term, these medicines, I'm not saying anything that whatever, I don't know why they are doing it. It's pretty sinister. But if you just realize that they kill off, or they not kill off, but they suppress your immune system, even though the immune system is the most important thing in healing your disease. It's just complete insanity. And then even Harvard made a study about MS and the connection to the Epstein-Barr virus. I think it was in 2021. And Medical Medium said this in 2015 in his first book, that Epstein-Barr virus is responsible for MS. And then they said it's a very strong link that the Epstein-Barr virus is causing MS. And the news articles were like, we found the culprit, we found the root cause for MS. And then nothing more. That was it. No more funding, no more studies. They did anything about that. The treatment didn't change. There was the biggest link ever from Epstein-Barr virus to MS, and they're still prescribing immunosuppressants. There's nothing that has changed about that. And this is just the insanity when it comes to chronic illness. It's insane.
Wow, that's incredible. And so basically now also to be aware of our time here, you're helping clients, you're helping your clients to actually to move along with their health, to get over some obstacles that they are facing at the moment. So if somebody got inspired, if somebody would like to work with you, things like, wow, I really enjoyed that, and I need to change something, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can check out my Instagram. You can check out my website. You can send me a DM on my Instagram. You can even book a free discovery call with me. That's something that's definitely I would definitely do that to get in contact with me, and then we see how that goes. I work with professional athletes, not only if they have health issues, also if they want to improve their performance, if they want to reduce their injury risk. I work with the business owners that have health issues, that want to improve their health, that want to get back on track, improve their mental abilities, their mental health as well. But I also, all kinds of people are coming to me because everybody has chronic illness nowadays. And when we met at the inner circle, everybody that I asked had an illness. The first person that I asked, allergies. Second person, high blood pressure. Third person, cavities. Everybody has something. And this is just where I help people. Of course, because of my background, I love to work with professional athletes. I already worked with, do you know, for example, Timo Hildebrand, the goalkeeper. Right now I'm working with Ilya Gruyev. It's the player on Leeds United, used to play Bundesliga at Werder Bremen. I work with tennis players, for example, Albert Ramos Vinolas. He is 15 years in the top 100 right now. I worked with Paula Omachea, also professional tennis player, was also playing top 100. And I just love to help them and improve their performance, getting back on track if they have any illnesses, to heal that, and then to make the best out of their careers. And this goes for the careers in professional soccer. I also help, for example, same issues with acne. I helped the goalkeeper from Hamburg SV to heal his acne, for example, Theo Bergmann. And there are so many people that I already helped, and it's just working. It's working. That's the most important thing. And but all kinds of people are coming to me, of course. I love to work with professional athletes. I love to work with business owners because I'm in their shoes. I was a professional athlete. Right now, I'm a business owner. And but of course, there are all kinds of people who are coming to me. Everybody that has health issues and want to finally get rid of it. You can definitely contact me, and I would be very happy to help you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Any last 30-second thought that you would like to leave us with?
When you sometimes, and I had that for myself, when you really have health issues and it seems like there's no way out, there's a way out. You can also pray a lot. Praying helps a lot as well. You can pray to God to find the answers. And you can also, you have to believe in yourself, and you just have to know that there's a way out of sickness. There's a way out. I did it. Millions of other people did it. Even though all the doctors said, maybe you're not going to even live anymore. You're not going to heal this for the rest of your life. There are multiple, like in the hundreds of millions of people that healed their chronic illness, and you can do it as well. And always believe that, and never let anybody tell you that your immune system is attacking you, that your genes are the reason why you're sick, that you manifested your illness somehow. There are true physical reasons on why you have these issues, and it's not your fault. That's also really critical to understand. It's not your fault that you have these issues, because there are real physical issues that you can explain that are behind your illnesses. And you can actually do something about that if you know what's going on.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for all the insights. Give it up one more time. Theo Bergmann.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronny. I really appreciate talking to you. You're a great guy. And it was just a nice coincidence, a great coincidence that we met up in Munich. And I really appreciate the invitation, and was amazing talking to you.
Thank you for sticking with us until the end. To make this content even more valuable for you, please leave a comment below and share your thoughts, and also share this video with somebody you care about who absolutely needs to see this. Thank you very much. Have an outstanding day, and see you next time.